Hi and welcome to Positively Sparking, podcasts on internet marketing, online business, entrepreneurship and digital living. Today I'm with Joel Harrison, expert VA and client manager at Positive Sparks. We're going to chat through our favourite apps for the month of July. So hi Joel, how are you?
Hi Phil, I'm good thanks. How are you?
Excellent. It's been a beautiful week here, as I've heard it's been even hotter where you are.
Yeah, it got up to 38 degrees on Tuesday, so it's pretty hot.
What do you do then when it's that hot? Can you actually work? Do you have AC at your place or not?
No AC. I've got a ceiling fan and I've got like a portable fan, but that's about it. But we literally just have to keep all the doors and windows closed as soon as it gets hotter outside than it does indoors, and then just walk around in hardly any clothes and just, cool off with... I made some ice lollies this week, so we've been eating a lot of ice lollies.
There we go. That's the answer. Ice lollies and nakedness.
Yeah, although at night it's difficult. I mean, it was 28 degrees when we went to bed on Tuesday night. So that was in the house. It was so hot we just couldn't sleep.
Oh. So that's you made me think of something there, that when it gets hotter outside, there's no point even having a wind rushing through the house if you can do that with certain doors open. You just got to shut it out.
We just got to shut it out and hope for the best, and then just open them up as soon as it gets cooler outside than it is in.
Wow. Well, it's going to be interesting to see what your favourite apps are this month, and if there's anything there that helps you keep cool, at least stress-wise.
Possibly not. Possibly not.
So Joe, give us your first app of the month.
Okay, so the first app of the month is called Basecamp, which I've heard of quite a long time ago. I've heard of it, but I've never actually looked into it because I've never had any reason to, really, because we've been using Asana. But I took on a new client a couple of weeks ago, and he uses Basecamp and invited me over to use it with him. And it's basically a project management system similar to Asana, where you can put your to-do list and you can speak to your colleagues on there. So it's got a message board. So you've got your schedule, your to-dos, and it's really good actually, because you can have apps on all devices, as most things do these days, and it pings up a little notification in the corner to say when your client has sent you a task to do. And so I've actually found it better than Asana when I've been using it. Yeah, because Asana, although it notifies me on my phone, there isn't an app for my Mac for Asana. There isn't a Mac app. So I have to use the browser. So actually Basecamp is really good because I can have it on all devices. And yeah, it's worked really well. He's put all of my to-do lists on there of what he wants me to do, and you can upload files. You can have a chat on there. So yeah, it's really good. I've enjoyed using it.
Excellent. So Basecamp is pretty well known, isn't it? I heard of that quite a few years ago.
Yeah.
So one of the original task management tools, perhaps. So you're quite an expert in task management tools, because you have your own systems and then your clients have theirs and you fit in with those. And so Basecamp has knocked Asana off your top of the tree.
Well, it hasn't knocked it off because obviously I use Asana with a couple of clients, so I can't obviously just make them swap over to Basecamp. So, and I don't actually know. I've not worked out yet whether I can, if I have a Basecamp for another client, whether I can easily switch between the two, and whether I would be notified for both rather than just the one client that I've got on there at the moment. So I'm not entirely sure whether it's a swapping situation just yet, but it's definitely in the running.
There we go. And so you mentioned there that one of the big differences for you was the desktop app on the Mac?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
So what difference does that make? Why is that better than being in the browser?
Because with Asana, I have to click on the browser to check that anybody has sent me a message. So it's down to me to remember to go in and check to see if anybody's added a task on there for me. Whereas Basecamp app, I'll get a little notification up in the top right hand corner of my computer saying so and so has added a task, or there's a comment or something like that. So yeah, it's it's a lot easier to see when I have new stuff to deal with rather than Asana. Doesn't do that.
Got you.
Yeah.
Did you ever try Todoist? One that we chatted through a month or so ago.
I did for a short period of time, but what I found when I'm testing these things out, unless I'm using it constantly, then it's very difficult to manage two at once. So obviously all my tasks are on Asana, and the only reason I'm using Basecamp is because a client uses it. So I'm having to use it and test it out. Whereas Todoist, I was kind of putting stuff on there and then I was forgetting about it because I'm not used to using it. So, I mean, it worked the few times that I did go in there and test it. It was good, but I didn't get any further than that, I'm afraid.
No, that's fair enough. Todoist has a desktop app as well, and I found that useful in my own stuff. But I think they're all good. I think that's what we find with task management tools. There's so many great ones that it does simply come down to what everybody else uses that you work with.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I was testing out another one a couple of weeks ago called Insightly, which has actually got a CRM involved in it as well.
I've heard of that one too.
Yeah, I mean, I will go back to that and maybe review that on a future podcast. But too busy to be testing things out at the moment, so it's on the back burner.
So where can we find Basecamp?
It's literally basecamp.com. Very easy.
Great. And what kind of cost does Basecamp have?
Well, because my client's paying for it, I'm not having to pay for it at all. So I'm not entirely sure. I think it's from $29 a month for internal teams, it says on the website, or $79 a month if you use Basecamp with clients. So obviously, if I was to do it myself and work with my clients, then it would be $79 a month.
There we go. Very good.
Cool.
So my first app of the month is actually a desktop software package. And a lot of people ask me how we make the podcast. And so both of the apps this month are things that I use to make this podcast.
Oh, good idea.
There we go. And so right now we are being recorded by a desktop application which comes with a Mac, when you buy a Mac, called GarageBand.
Okay.
And really, it's a bit of software for bands to record, themselves playing, or musicians. But it's actually also a great podcasting tool.
Oh, okay.
And when we started to do the podcast, one thing I realised quite quickly is that it would be very useful to have two separate recordings of the two people talking. So what I mean by that is we could just record you and I chatting on Skype and have one MP3, which is both of us chatting.
Yeah.
But then things happen on both sides of a podcast chat. So my doorbell might go and the dog goes crazy.
Dog's barking.
Your dogs bark at your side. And it's really good to mix those down and out if we can.
Okay.
And so having the ability to record each voice on a different channel gives us that ability. And GarageBand makes that really easy. It uses another little app that we can download for the Mac called Soundflower. And Soundflower allows us to create 2 or more channels on our Mac. And so we set one up as Skype, and we set one up as me chatting through my mic on my desktop.
Oh, okay.
And it's very, very good. The other thing that GarageBand has is some incredible effects.